Let's go. Welcome to the Man United stream, guys. Hope you're doing well. I'm trying a whole new setup this morning or this evening. Morning. What am I talking about? Anyway, welcome to the channel, guys. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything is working. Hope you can hear me. Let me know in the comments below if you can hear me and if everything is as normal. I'm using a different streaming service today, so just let me know if that's all good and you can hear me properly and everything's working. But we've got some big news coming up today. Of course, we've got massive news. We discussed it on Saturday night. Actually, we brought the news to you on Saturday night. We brought the news to you about how Man United, let me just actually do a sound check on everything. Let me do a sound check. Yeah, you can hear me. Everything is fine. Perfect. Okay, let's go. Right, okay, guys. Michael Carrick is the new interim boss at United. Yes, you heard it here first, by the way. You heard it here first. Saturday night was the night we broke the news that we got some inside news that Michael Carrick, yes, Michael Carrick is going to get the job. And, well, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I was surprised. I was not fully, I wasn't fully convinced, I must admit. Niche, welcome to the channel, mate. Hope you're doing well. I wasn't fully convinced. I wasn't. I'm going to be honest with you. I was a bit like, Carrick, really? Over Solskjaer? Will they give him the job? Why have they chosen Carrick? Everything. And then I started getting more and more news that Carrick is going to be the one that they're going to go after. Carrick is the guy that they're going to choose for whatever reason. I've told you my thoughts on Michael Carrick. Look, we're going to get behind him, of course, like all Man United fans will always do, because, look, that's the way we operate. We back the players, we back the managers until they give us a reason not to. Always like on my way in. Evening, Travis, bro. Hope you're well. Evening, Niche, dude. Yeah, Neville, how you doing, mate? Hope you're doing well. Let me know, guys. Let me know straight away what you think about Carrick. I know, Niche, you've let me know, but actually, I want to know what you think about Carrick going forward. Are you convinced with him? Are you happy with this? Or are you thinking this is just bullshit? I mean, some fans are unhappy. Some fans actually wanted Solskjaer. Some fans wanted a complete left field appointment. Some fans wanted a permanent manager to come in. So let me know as you guys come in into the tonight's show. I want to make it as interactive as possible. So I want to know from everybody who's joining in right now what they think about the whole situation with Carrick. Now, look, I wasn't convinced up until they announced him. And then I was like, look, as United fans, we're obliged to get behind our new manager. And if it's Carrick, if it was Solskjaer, I would have got behind both of them because they deserve that much. At least they deserve that much, right? Because we've got to remember, this is not of their making. This is not of their making. We can't blame Carrick or Fletcher or Solskjaer for the shit that we're in right now. This is an INEOS problem. And they've done tactically what every owner under United would have done right now. Tactically, they've played a masterstroke because they've brought in a United legend who they know will not be taken down by the fans because the fans don't do that. We don't do that. We back our legends. We know what they've done for the club and we won't go shouting, screaming that why have you brought in Carrick? That is the reality of it. And look, what I'm hearing on the grapevine is that he was really, really impressive during this whole meeting that took place with Wilcox. Obviously, I'm not happy that Wilcox likes him. I mean, let me be honest, but I just feel like Wilcox and Jim Ratcliffe have always sought someone like Carrick. I mean, we've heard on the grapevine that they've loved the thought of appointing Gareth Southgate. So look, as long as Southgate's away from us and we've got Carrick, I'm happy with that. We could have gone with Southgate. It could have been even worse. It could have been a choice of Gareth Southgate running the show at United, and that would have been awful. So I'm going to be honest with you. I'm hearing it could have been worse. So I'm happy with Carrick. Neville says a lot of people want to see Ollie. I get it, but he plays a style of football that will be entertaining and it isn't that much of a change from Amrin's system. It's just more United friendly. Um, yeah, look, I understand what you're saying there. I understand that. Carrick was my top choice, to be honest with you. So enough with Fletcher, and I think he should stick with the under-18s. I agree. Yeah, I think that's exactly my sentiments. I would echo your thoughts on Fletcher. I think it's come a little bit early. I think Fletcher's still got a bit more to do. Yes, he's doing brilliant work with the under-18s, but I just felt like he was kind of out of his depth. Let me know if I'm wrong. He's pulling up trees, and I love Ollie, right? But Carrick was the most imperative to Ollie's success. Well, look, with me, I just felt like with Ollie, we're just going back to something that we've already tried and tested, and it unfortunately didn't work. It didn't work. So that's why I'm a bit like, look, why go back to something that we know didn't work? It's like I gave the example of a toxic relationship that you're in, and you've broken up, you've gone through all the heartache, you've got over it, you're finally moving on with your life, and then boom, you're back in there again. You make up, and you give it a second go, and you know what it's going to end like. It's going to end up in tears, like every relationship does. Every toxic relationship does. And with Ollie, I didn't want to see him break down once again. I mean, look, when he left United, it was heartache for lots of fans and United at the same time. It wasn't easy to cope with. And for me, I just don't want to see that again. I really don't. I don't want to see that again. I want to see something different. And yeah, if it's Carrick, yeah, give him a bloody chance. Let's see what he can do. There's two sides. The same Wilcox arse cheek doesn't matter in my opinion. Carrick, Fletcher, yeah. Look, that is my concern. When I heard that Wilcox is the one who's been really impressed with Carrick and his interview and what he said and what he planned for the future and what he was saying who he's gonna bring on. We're hearing Woodgate is going to be his assistant, or he might be bringing him on board. The defender back in the days, you might know of him, you might not. There's a few others, other names about being thrown around about him coming on board, who's coming on. But look, I'm gonna say it like it is. I'm gonna wait and see. I'm not gonna pass judgment on Carrick or anybody else until I see what they're gonna serve up. Because I'm done with it. I'm done with trusting the process. I'm done with the whole thing of, oh, do you know what? Yeah, let's back him blindly, and let's get carried away with backing this new man who INEOS have brought in. I just don't agree with that. Not anymore. I think Ruben Amorim was my last one I back like that. I blindly back, and I just say, right, okay, I'm going to get behind this manager, and that's it. I think, look, we've got to be careful with whoever INEOS pick, and as Nish said it, we've got to be careful because he might just be a yes boss. He might be a yes boss to INEOS. So if INEOS turn around and say, we want you to play in a full-back formation with 4-4-2, or we want to play 4-3-3, I think, yeah, Carrick might be the guy who says, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, Wilcox. Whatever you say goes. You're my boss, and I'll do whatever it takes to stay in the job. And I just feel like that might be the bloody case right now. Wilcox has sat down and thought, is this guy going to listen to me? Yeah, he's perfect. He looks over at Ollie, and Ollie seems like a bit of a maverick, bit of a, bossy type manager, has been there, done that, has been there before. Wilcox knows everybody. And then what we also heard was the players themselves chose Carrick over Solskjaer. I'll come back to that point in a minute, because let me just go through the comments as well, because I don't want to leave the comments right till the end of the show, because I have piles and piles of comments to go through, and then it takes a good half an hour just to go through them. So I'm going to try and keep on top of everyone's comments so we can make it a very interactive show as well. So Neville says, sorry, I meant to say Carrick plays the style of play at Middlesbrough. He's best out of what the options were. Unfortunately, just yes men but 100% facts. The man is walking into hell. I don't envy him. I don't envy anybody. I really don't. I think that's why I'm giving him a wide berth. Actually, I feel sorry for whoever's walking in right now and taking this job up as an interim manager, because it's poisonous. It's toxic right now. United are a difficult club to deal with right now. So whoever's coming in trying to make the best of it, I really do feel for him. I feel for him, and I accept that it's not going to be an easy thing. Carrick plays 3 at the back at Middlesbrough, so I cannot see him doing that. I think that would have been the main thing, that he's walked in and he's probably, the first thing come out of Wilcox's mouth is probably, what formation are you going to play? And if it's 3, you're out of the door, because he's dead set against it. I.e., can you imagine Carrick coming in and playing 3 at the back? I mean, can you imagine the uproar that we're going to get from those fans who are still upset about Ruben Amorim being sacked? They'll come out in the droves, including us. Let's be honest. Even we will be saying, what the F is this? Why didn't we just bloody keep Ruben then? So absolutely, I will back the man as the caretaker. I don't want to cry over spilt milk with Amorim anymore and move on. I cannot agree more with backing whoever it is as fans. Yeah, look, Neville, look, I agree. Look, I know how passionate and how how you were backing Ruben Amorim. And yeah, I like seeing that. Look, I was on the fence. Niche, was Amorim out, but even he accepts that. Look, the football that we've seen since Amorim left in the 2 games hasn't been good enough, and yeah, we might as well have stuck with Ruben Amorim. But I agree with you. I think that's a reasonable stance to take. That, look, yeah, we can't cry over spilt milk. Whatever your thoughts were on Ruben Amorim, and this is a message not just to myself and the people watching, but everybody, all the fan base. We know there might be some of you who might be hurting over the Ruben Amorim dismissal. But look, that doesn't mean that you need to give the new caretaker manager, Carrick, a hard time. Yes, go and give INEOS absolutely everything that you've got. Go and give INEOS a hard time, because they bloody deserve it. They're the ones who are to blame for everything that's been going on, not Fletcher or Carrick or Solskjaer, whoever else is going to come in to pick up the pieces. In fact, let's be honest, they're doing us a favor. They're doing us a favor by coming into this shit show, because most people with a brain in their skull would not walk into this shit show. I mean, most people would say, right, okay, I don't want any I don't want any of this. I don't want any of this. I don't want to come anywhere near this. Look, I agree. I agree. We've just got to back whoever is coming in and then go from there. See what football they play, see what they can serve up, and then judge them. Judge them at the end, though. I'm just fingers crossed, hoping that we can go again. We can actually start playing football. I'm hoping that with the arrival of Mbumo, Ahmad, and hopefully we get De Ligt fit, I think those can actually start performing. We can actually play some better football. That's my hope anyway. Sandil, welcome to the show, mate. Hope you're doing well. Good interim manager, another system, same players, same board, same ownership. No experienced manager will ever come to be head coach, not the manager. Yep, I agree. I think that's a great point, because it sums up everything that we've been saying in the last week or so since Ruben Amorim got sacked. Yes, Ruben Amorim got sacked, and okay, even if he was bad, and we agree partly that he had some issues. So let's say he was part of the problem. But the remaining problem still stays at United. We've still got the same players. We've still got the same board. We've still got the same ownership. So what about them? When is that change going to come? That's our question as Man United fans. That's what we are now questioning. We're saying you can't get rid of a problem by getting rid of 25% of it and letting the 75% remain, because that 75% will slowly increase to 100 again after a couple of months or a year. We're going to be at the same crossroads again. We're going to be at the same crossroads, having to sack another manager. That's the problem I have. And I agree with what you just said there, Sandal. We have got a board which is looking for a puppet, not a manager, a puppet. We're looking for a puppet, and that's what That's why I fear they've gone with Carrick. I want to be wrong, though. I want to be wrong. I want to be proven wrong. I just feel like I don't know whether that is actually their intention. That's why. Exactly, mate. Just knows the club better so he can play his style without being bombarded by ex-players for not understanding the club despite having a clear vision that was working. Actually, I heard that some of the players, the senior members, not sure who, but you can kind of guess who. Obviously, it'd probably be Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire, maybe Leacher, maybe Casemiro, a few of them who were there at the time of Ollie, who had their say in this appointment. And they said that they wanted to go with Carrick because they'd been there, been there and got the T-shirt with Solskjaer, and they didn't want to return to that type of football for whatever reason. They said, look, at the end of Ollie, when it came to Ollie leaving, it became really toxic, really difficult for them. And they said, look, it's best to leave that where it has landed, and let's go again with somebody new. And that's what I think. That's what's been another driving force in bringing somebody else in. I want Ollie back. I need the vibes. Look, do you know what I said? Look, on was it yesterday's game? Yeah, I said, look, I don't think Carrick's going to bring a bounce back. I really don't. I think if it was Ollie, there would have been an immediate bounce. You know, the lift that the players might have got. I think that could have happened, but I can't see it happening under Carrick. Nev is completely right. I bet Carrick plays 3 at the back, but won't get shit for it. Yeah. Well, if he does, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I don't think he will. I really can't see that happening. I think that would have been one of the main talking points during the interview. They would have asked him, right, are you going to play 3 at the back? Because if you're going to play 3 at the back, we're not appointing you. I mean, it's quite an obvious one, isn't it? It's quite an obvious one to go with. It's like they know whoever's going to come in is not allowed to play 3 at the back. I think that's, like I said, that's the first question Wilcox probably asked them all. I mean, even asked Ollie, probably asked Carrick as well, saying, right, you know what? Let me know what you're going to be. Ollie would have been pure vibes, 100%. But in terms of who is best for the role, Carrick makes the most sense. I respect the guy for walking into this because he knows what's coming. Yeah, man, that is it. That is what I'm saying right now. I'm looking at it thinking, shit, this is an absolute shitstorm right now. Absolute shitstorm. And who the hell would want to touch this? Rooney's talking about coming in to help Carrick on his podcast. Yeah, I think he said it was the question was posed to him: would you come back if Carrick? No, would you assist if Carrick called you? And he said absolutely, which I was kind of surprised with, because Rooney, you'd argue, he's got a managerial career in his own right. Yeah, he could have turned around and said, well, no, screw you. I don't want to be no assistant because I'm a manager, full-out-fledged manager. I don't want to be no assistant. But he did, to be fair, say, look, yeah, I'd come in. I'd rather have Maresca. I said that in this morning's stream, didn't I, Nish? I said, look, if it was me, I would have probably gone with an experienced manager like Maresca and told him, look, you're going to get the interim post. You're going to get the interim job till the end of the season. I think it would have suited him because he's currently out of a job. And it would have suited us. And it would have been quite simple. We could have brought him in and said, look, we don't want you to play this football. We want you to play this type of football till the end of the season. Do you agree? And I think he might have said, yeah, I've got nothing to lose. He's got nothing to lose. And neither had INEOS at this point in time. They could have just thrown the kitchen sink at it and said, right, okay, let's bring him in. He's only got the contract till the end of the season. And then we'll explore a permanent position for whoever. And let it be. I think that would have been, it would have given them more chance of getting into the Champions League, or maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what everyone else thinks of it, because look, you're taking out Ruben Amorim, bringing in somebody else who is a demanding manager. He's going to be someone who's going to be like, look, I'm not taking any shit from any of these players, and some have argued that these players don't need a kick up the backside. They need an arm around them. But I don't know about that. I don't think nothing works, man. Nothing works with these set of players. They're just shit. Let's be frank. They're shit. They're not good enough. They're not good footballers. They're not good footballers. It doesn't matter whether you put your arm around them, whether you kick them up the arse, or whatever you do with them. They're just not good footballers. So no matter what happens, no matter who comes in, they've got an uphill struggle. They've got an uphill struggle with these players. And I'm saying this not because I've seen him for 1 year or 2 years or 3. We've seen him for consecutive years under different managers. Go all the way back, man. Some of these players have been here since day one. Then you've got what? You've got Mourinho, you've got Solskjaer. He managed most of these players. Maguire, Bruno. And then you carry on from them. And you've got manager after manager after manager who's played with these players, and they've let them down. They've let the managers down time and time again. So, of course, these players are not good enough. We're just kind of trying to make it all good. And we know Carrick, for whatever he does, I'll be absolutely gobsmacked if he can turn things around at this United team right now. If he can turn this United team around, I really cannot see that happening. I mean, it would have been a hard task for an experienced top manager to come in and do that with these players. Never mind someone like Carrick or Solskjaer. I mean, I think what proved our point was last night's press conference with Darren Fletcher. And you could see he let loose, not like Ragnick let loose, but he let loose in Darren Fletcher's way. You could see he was a bit more relaxed. And his comments about the team were slightly open. It gave you a slight peek to what was going on behind the scenes. And he said, look, these players, they're not performing. They're not performing. He didn't know what was fully wrong, but he just goes, they're not performing. And we've got some issues with that. Exactly, Travis. I think INEOS are giving Wilcox, the apparent real manager of the club, and Berardi one last chance to get it right. And Eric Ten Hag and Amrin were both 3 steps backwards situation. Yeah, that's what, unfortunately, I'm seeing, Neville. I am seeing the situation where I think Jim Ratcliffe has turned around and said, you've caused this screw up, Berardi, Wilcox. Now go and effing fix it. Go and fix it and see what you can do. And if you can't fix it, you're out of the job. That's what I feel like he's told Berardi and Wilcox. So they are hanging on a thin piece of thread. And they just, because, look, we know one thing. The moment the heat gets turned up on INEOS and Jim Ratcliffe, he's gonna cut his ties with Berardi and Wilcox, because he's going to say, look, why the flip am I getting all this heat? It's because of you two incompetent idiots who've gone and appointed a manager, given him 14 months, and he's then turned on you, and you guys can't even handle that. So, and then you came running to me saying, we've got to sack him before he lets everything out in the press, That's what it was. Ollie and Amrin, same. Ollie just sit down for 90 minutes, not pushing players. Amrin plays rubbish system. Yeah, look, I don't know if it is fully a manager's fault here. I really do. I think, look, the players are just shit. And whatever manager comes in realizes after a little while that shit, these players are not going to play for me. These players are not good enough to play whatever formation you put them in. Niche bro, I was low-key praying that we would have went for Maresca, but because these twats couldn't give Amrin 6 months and make it through the season, we could have easily got 5th. Look, in hindsight now, it really does look like it was a really bad decision, but none of us saw it coming, right? I mean, no one out from the fan base was calling for Ruben Amrin's immediate sack. We were all saying, right, end of the season comes, what we were calling for is not to give him 3 years. No one anticipated him getting the sack within this month, right? We were all saying, look, we're not happy with him getting a blank canvas for 3 years, but let's give him to the end of the season. That's what most fans were saying. Even those who were, I'd say, arguing against Ruben Amrin. Actually, some were actually saying get rid of him immediately. But I mean, even they have now realized this task is not as easy as it seemed, even with Ruben Amrin. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, completely agree, Neville. Amrin is always going to be better than Carrick. where's he going to play all our million tens? Yeah, that's, do you know what? That's a really good point you made there, Niche, because I was sat earlier looking through the squad of players and I thought exactly that. I was thinking, okay, so what bloody formation does Carrick play with these players? Because I couldn't get all of them in the I couldn't get them all in the team. So I'm really trying to work out. Let me know, guys, what formation you'd play with these players and who you'd squeeze in and who would be the fall guy, who loses his spot in the first 11, because there will be casualties. There'll be some players who will have to play on the bench, because look, Ruben Amorim was playing Ahmad in right wing back position. If we're not playing three at the back, Ahmad's not going to be playing in that position. So he's going to be either bumped up forward or he gets to sit on the bench. I doubt he will, because he is one player who's currently in form. I think it'd be absolutely suicidal for any manager to come in and drop Ahmad to the bench. So that's my thoughts on it. Let me know what formation you would play. Yeah, completely agree. Yeah, we've done that. Yeah. The issue, Neville said, the issues I think a lot of us are going through, Amrin in or out or doubt. INEOS going public saying 3 years project, this and that, and getting us all emotionally invested for better or worse. Yeah, I think that was the worst thing. I think if Ratcliffe didn't come out and say, look, he gets a blank canvas for 3 years. This is Ruben Amorim, yeah? In October, Jim Ratcliffe came out when we were going through a shitstorm. We were having absolutely terrible results. And Jim Ratcliffe came out and said, he's got 3 years. I'm not going to get him sacked. He's not going to get the sack until 3 years, and then we'll judge him after 3 years. Them were his words. We're not the owners. We didn't say that. He said that. And I think what that did was really get everyone's back up, especially those who were Ruben Amorim out. And even those like me who were sitting on the fence a little bit. I was like, right, I like Ruben Amorim. I like what he says, what he's projecting as his aim in the future. But I'm not happy with his current results, and I'm certainly not happy with him playing three at the back and playing with two shit midfielders, right? That's what my issue was with Ruben Amorim. But I saw immediately when Jim Ratcliffe came out with that statement, it got all those Amorim haters, the ones who were not happy with him, like the ones who really didn't like Ruben Amorim, they came out guns blazing. They were like, no, we're not having this. Bullshit. And they then completely went on the offensive against Ruben Amorim and were pushing to get him sacked. But it doesn't matter. Do you know why it doesn't matter? Because even their kicking off didn't work. It wasn't because of them that Ruben Amorim got the sack. It was because of Wilcox. It wasn't because of the unhappy fans saying that his win rate isn't good and his Ruben Amorim's simply not good enough. It wasn't because of that. That's the reality of it. So no one can take credit for Ruben Amorim getting the sack, and no one can not take the credit and say it was this guy's fault or that fan base's fault. It wasn't anyone's fault that Ruben Amorim got the sack, apart from INEOS and Wilcox. And so Niche, Mount, Kuna, and Bruno, Ahmad, Zertsky, all 10s, absurd. Yep, that's it. I mean, and the absurdity is that we're still not going to get rid of Zertsky. We're still going to hold on to him, apparently. We're not going to... it's just weird, isn't it? It is absolutely weird. We're not even going to play the guy. We're not going to play him. We should have at least thought about doing a trade deal with Zertsky. Send him out and do a flipping swap deal. Go and get a midfielder. Just go and approach whichever team you like a midfielder from, whether it's Juve, whether it's Roma, and just look who they've got. Go and see if there's a midfielder that we can have as a trade. Yeah, swap. Send Zertsky there. Bring in a midfielder instead. Don't exchange any money. Why not, man? What's happened to our transfer window, man? What's happened to the people who are calling these transfers, making these transfers? Why can they not think out of the box anymore? Really weird. Just does not make any sense to me why they can't do that. Something interesting about Carrick is he's played 3 at the back in Middlesbrough, but he would change it for 4 at the back. So so Wilcox will see it as being far more flexible, acceptable. Yeah, that's definitely going to happen. Definitely. I cannot, like I said, I cannot see him playing 3 at the back. Really can't. Problem is we don't have any decent midfield. Manu is crap. Manu did not show up, man. Last game, Manu, he got his opportunity as well under Fletcher. He got it, man. He should have taken it with both hands, but he clearly is either not up to pace or simply not what he used to be. I don't know what it is. Maybe he needs more game time. I don't know. Nish exactly really annoyed me with the Brighton game. Goldbridge has gaslighted half our fan base into believing Bruno is a bad midfielder. He has the most assists in the Prem. Look, Bruno is not a bad midfielder. Bruno is a top cam. I'm going to say it and I'm going to stick by it, guys. I'm going to stick by it. Bruno is, I'm telling you, we get rid of Bruno, we are completely done for. You might as well call it a day. You might as well not bother. You know, you might as well send Ahmad out as well, and that's it. Just pack up, man. Pack up your bags. Call it a day. Just let everyone take 3 points every time they come to Old Trafford, because that's what's going to happen. I'd play Casemiro as a right centre-back. We need to stop conceding. Need some clean sheets. Something needs to change. Something needs to change in that defence, because it is brittle. It's brittle. By the time we actually got a goal on board, Fletcher had changed the midfield to Amrin's setup. Bruno and Casemiro, whether people like it or not, that is our best midfield. So you're saying Fletcher had changed the midfield to Amrin's setup, Bruno and Casemiro, whether people like it or not. If we play that two midfield, I think, look, for me, Ugarte, Casemiro do a better job. I would push Bruno up, man. Bruno needs to play in that cam. If we're playing that 4-2-3-1 formation, Bruno needs to play in that cam. I can see it if we play a 3 at the back formation. I think, yeah, then it becomes a case of Bruno and Casemiro playing together, because that's the only combination that actually works. And yeah, whether you like it or you don't, that is what we had with Ruben Amorim. So it meant using Ugarte, which was awful. It really isn't. Bruno should stay in the midfield where he develops something, at least with Casemiro, and we can play Lacey up front. Lacey, I think he's a bit part player. I can't see him starting. Maybe Carrick will give him some time, but I can't see him starting all games. I'd play Senny Lemons, Dogu left back, Leacher and Casemiro centre back, Mazraoui right back, Ugarte, Mount, Bruno, and Bruno 10, Ahmad right wing, and Mbumo and Sesko. Yeah, that's a good shout, to be honest with you. But I get this feeling they won't push Casemiro back there. I can't see that happening. I think they'd probably played Maguire in before they play him back there. Rooney can do one. Yeah, Rooney. Look, Jonathan. I don't know what Rooney's game is. I don't know whether he just came out and said, "Look, I'm not gonna, just to try and make it out to be that he's partial to doing the job." But I don't think he would. I don't think he'd even take it. I think Rooney would be like, "No, I'm a manager." Carrick never lost a game as interim. 3 games, 2 wins, 1 draw. Yeah, I know that. But look, let's wait and see. I don't want to get hyped, man. He's a poor manager and even worse coach. Yeah, look, that is true. That is true. If you look back at Rooney's bloody record, it's not great. It's not great. And I don't want someone like him to even come back. I mean, for me, legends like that just keep your bloody reputation intact, man. We loved you when you were here. You did great. Just stay away. Just kind of, yeah. Let us keep our good memories. That's all I'm saying. Neville says, putting Bruno back in the 10 role was absolutely Fletcher bowing to Wilcox. It infuriated me, if I'm honest, because yes, he got red carded at the end, but he could have started. Bruno looked lost. Oh, you're talking about Lacey here? Yeah, Lacey. Look, I didn't mind Lacey. I enjoyed his passion. I enjoyed him coming on and doing. Carrick deserves a chance. I'm glad we didn't go for Ollie. Yeah, look. Yeah, I agree, Jonathan. I agree. I'm with me. I just felt like we've been there, done it with Ollie. We saw how it ended. Do you know what amazes me? How many people can't remember how it ended with Ollie? Why can't you remember? It was awful, man. It was awful. For the last couple of months under Ollie, the situation was poor. But that tells you how short memory. How many fans have short memories? Like, it was bad, guys. It was bad. It was awful. So, yeah, give Carrick the chance and get behind him. I think, look, that's the least we can do. He doesn't deserve any criticism anyway, because he's not part of this problem. He's not caused this. He's not caused it. He's coming in, and let's be honest, he's doing a job for us. He's coming in at a time when most people would be like saying, I don't want to touch it with a barge pole. But it's still a big job. It's still a massive job. Bruno has the most goal-scoring opportunities created for a number 8 role in the Prem, most assists in the Prem, and the team XG literally halved in 2 weeks when he was injured. Team should be built around him, I think you're going to say there. And yeah, I agree. It is. For me, just got to build the team around your best players. You've got to feed your best players. So for me, Bruno, Ahmad, and Bumo, them are our best players right now. Right now, if you're going to ask me who our best players, attacking players are, it's them 3. So you try and put them players in a position where they can do the most damage. Then you fit the other players around them and try and get them to cook as well. I think Sesko will come good. What I've seen in the last 2 games with Sesko, I really do. I feel like he's going to go from strength to strength as long as he keeps scoring and he keeps building that confidence. It's pathetic needing an arm around them, toughen up. Sesko is a right softie. Yeah, that's been my criticism of Sesko since he's flipping arrived. Now, I've said, actually, in the Burnley game, did he actually show some courage and aggression? If you watch any of the watch-alongs, I've been saying that from time, man. I've been saying, how can we sign someone this big and he gets pushed around? He gets pushed around. The worst one was if you watch back the game against Wolves, and he gets pushed over by Gomez. Gomez is flipping tiny. He like came up to his waist, and he pushed him over, and he went down like he's been hit by a bloody truck. Sesko did, and I was sat there thinking, how did that bloody happen? What's wrong with you? You're huge. Use your bloody power. Push him out of the way. Be aggressive. That's what you're there for. You're not going to get any goals if you are going to carry on just play. But then I think that sums up most of the United team, to be honest with you. No one I see on the United team ever goes in hard and aggressive. They're just all really weak. They don't want to go in hard. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's just because they've got the World Cup round the corner and no one wants to get serious injury or what. But I feel like they're not committing 100% to the team and going in there hard. Neville says we shouldn't sell him to Saudi. He should be our Luka Modric. He's a fitness freak. He got at least 4 to 5 seasons left in him. He's one of the only players that's given us our money's worth. Yeah, he has. He has, man. I don't know where this agenda's come from against Bruno. Look, I get some negative press that comes his way. I don't think he's a good captain. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think he's a good captain. And I sometimes feel like his passing, he tries these wonder passes which don't come off. But other than that, I still say he's a top player for United. And he has given his all. He's another player that if you go and ever watch live at Old Trafford and you're standing there and you're watching United play, there's one constant player who's moving non-stop. He's running up, he's running back, he's running up, he's running back, he's covering side to side, and it's Bruno Fernandes. I swear, if you ever go to Old Trafford and watch them live, that's the player you're going to see, and you walk away with a lot of respect for him because you think, actually, this guy cares. He actually works hard. And sometimes when he does make them passes and they don't come off, it's down to him being tired somewhat. I just feel like a manager that comes in like Carrick, I just hope that he can take him off at the right time. Yes, we need Bruno, but we need Bruno to be at his best. And if he's tired, take him off, bring someone else on, give them the opportunity as well. It's just damage limitation right now, says Niche. Yeah, it is from INEOS. It is. It's damage limitation and it's a smoke screen. It's all about making us forget that there's a transfer window right now that we're going through. And actually, talking about transfer windows, I'm gonna skip some of your comments, guys, because I need to go and discuss the transfer window. Just now, we're getting news that we are Gallagher is gonna be signed by Tottenham. We're getting breaking news. It was just broke before I came on. Tottenham have hijacked the deal for Conor Gallagher to Aston Villa. Earlier today, if you follow social media or you follow Fabrizio Romano, you'll hear that he broke the news that Aston Villa are close to signing Conor Gallagher from Atletico Madrid, the guy that we were meant to sign, right? Yeah, everyone was, oh yeah, maybe, maybe not. But who was it? Was it Neville? Was it you who was a big fan of Gallagher, and you were calling it out? You said it from day one. You're like, oh, Gallagher would be good. Gallagher would be good. Yeah. Um, but I think that would be a that's a signing that we could have brought in if we didn't pay off compensation for Ruben Amorim in the region of 30 mil. 30 mil we wasted away. But that's just not Ruben Amorim. We wasted a lot of money getting rid of Ten Hag. We wasted a lot of money to get rid of Dan Ashworth. So all this wasted money could have quite easily gone on to buying one player in that midfield that we are so desperately in need of. We are. We needed that player, and we unfortunately have still not managed to bring anybody in. I don't know why. We could have, like I said, got rid of Zertsky, sold him on, and brought in another player if we were worried about, having enough game time for the rest of the squad. United, Carwer Ground, first time viewer, loving the stream, great points. Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. Carrick is better than Amrin, says Nasudi. Yeah, look, we'll have to wait and see. The proof is in the pudding, isn't it? The proof is in the pudding. Let's hope so, for the sake of INEOS and for all of us, right? Because we need to compete. We need to get a Champions League spot. This year is one of those years. This season is where I feel like we're going to regret not qualifying for the Champions League. We really are. This is one season where everyone around us has collapsed, and they've given us a golden opportunity. And under Ruben Amorim, we failed to win the crucial games that we could have been sat in the Champions League spots. And I think it's cost him his job as well, actually, because I think if we were sat in the Champions League positions, if we were second or third, and Ruben Amorim came out with what he said after the Leeds game, I believe he wouldn't have got the sack. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. I truly believe if we were sat in the top three, I don't think INEOS would have dared sack Ruben Amorim. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with that. Controversial, maybe, or a bit of a catch-22 question, but let me know anyway. Rooney can come back and work the pie stand if he wants to. That's more vibe, I think. Neville, come on, Neville, dropping some comical comments here, man. Neville, I thought you were always straight and narrow, never one for dropping these kind of comments. I always thought you were very serious about everything, but you've proved me wrong. You've proved me wrong. Also respect for what you've said about Lacey there. I appreciate the passion, and he's just a kid. He'll learn. Saw a few comments completely slammed. Oh, no way. Did you really? That's just outrageous. Outrageous. I mean, I would have responded back to them guys and said, are you for real? Like, how can you pick? I don't get it. I do not get how we start slating kids. I think that was the other reason why I was a bit unhappy with Ruben Amorim saying, picking out the kids and saying they're not good enough, because yeah, they're not good because they're kids. They're still learning. We need to show them the environment where they can actually progress in. And that's why I every youngster that's at the club, and I put down some of the young players in the first team as well. I give them a leeway. I say, right, okay, do you know what? You're cocking up, but I'll allow it because you're still learning. But the senior players are the ones that I go to and say, well, you need to be doing a lot better. Sesko absolutely goes from looking like Bambi to a young Lewandowski. But again, this is what I'm saying he shouldn't be our sole striker. He was very good off the bench. Neville, do you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say this to you guys, which is, for me, I would play a 4-4-2 formation. I would play a 4-4-2 formation. I know it sounds like we're going back to the dark ages there, and I know it's probably not as fashionable these days, but I would play a 4-4-2 and give Sesko someone next to him, and I think he'd cook. I really do. I think he would be really, really good. God damn it, I wanted Gallagher. Yeah, that's it. It was you, wasn't it, Neville? Yeah. So look, that is it. I was reading it thinking, damn, man, this is it. This is our transfer window going down the drain. This is it. All that talk about, oh, we're going to get Gallagher, we're going to go and get Gomez, we're going to go and get maybe Baleba. I mean, where's that talk now? No one is mentioning that we are in middle of a transfer window. Nobody. Don't think United will sign a player till a permanent manager has been hired. Well, that's it. That is a ready-made excuse, isn't it? That is the excuse INEOS were after. That is the excuse. Of course, it's ready-made. It's packaged and ready for INEOS to bring out as soon as someone says, why haven't you signed anybody? And they'll turn around and say, well, we haven't got a permanent manager, and so therefore we're not going to invest in any players. But then that excuse backfires on them. And I tell you why it backfires on them. Because these same people that tell us that we're not going to sign players because we haven't got a permanent manager will also tell you that we're not going to sign players for managers. We're going to sign players for the club and the club's philosophy and play style. So it doesn't matter which manager comes in, we play a certain way, and the manager has to adapt to the way we play. That's what they're trying to tell everybody. That's what they're trying to tell any future manager that comes in. They're saying, look, no, we buy the players. Wilcox buys the players. Barada and Vivell have an input to who comes in, and whoever's there at the time managing United should be able to adapt those players and play with those players. That is the setup. That's what they want to do in the future. They don't want the manager to have a major say in who comes in and who goes out. Whether we agree with it or not, that's the new way of they believe that's the way to do things. But I don't agree with that. I think a successful club always has a manager who has a large input to who comes in as well. I think it's a unified kind of decision. They all agree on which players to go for and why. And in the long run, they all can come together. That's how I see it. Sandil, if Bruno leaves, Manchester United will regret his corners, free kick penalties, and his creativity. Bruno must run down his contract. We need him if Shaw, Casemiro, and Maguire run down their contracts. Well, look, there's a real danger. There's a real danger, Sandil, unfortunately, that Bruno's going to leave at the end of this season. That I can't tell you anything more. Look, what I'm hearing is that there's a real danger that he's going to leave end of the season. I don't want that to happen, given what I've seen from INEOS. I don't think they'll replace him, and that's why I'm worried. I'm upset because INEOS are not what they told us they were going to be, and I feel like they're not going to come out in the transfer window and bring anybody. They're not going to bring anybody to replace him. So if we lose the likes of Bruno and even Maguire or Casemiro, I'm not convinced that they'll be able to replace these players. But I certainly don't think they'll be able to replace someone like Bruno. I really don't. I really don't think they're going to be able to replace someone like Bruno. It is worrying, but that is the case. I want Diamande, but the team needs a new centre mid, and Spurs just got the best cheap option. Christ almighty, watch Gallagher be a solid bench player for Spurs. It's going to annoy me, but it'll happen. Yeah, he might. I think he will be a solid player for them. He's played in the Premier League, knows what's expected, and I think he's gone and learnt his trade away at Atletico Madrid. I think defensively he's become more switched on. Of course, working under Simeone, I think that's like a must, isn't it? I mean, you need to know what you're doing defensively because that's what his whole play style is based on. Diamande is an interesting one. I've heard news that he's actually ruled himself out of coming to United. So again, I've not confirmed this news, so I'm not 100%. So don't quote me on this. But what I've heard is Diamande has, I think, said he likes Liverpool. He wants to move to Liverpool. Again, I'm not 100% convinced. This is just off the grapevine. But I need to check this out. But that's why when you've just mentioned him, it just reminded me of what I've heard and what I read about Diamande. So there, that's another player who's probably trying to stay away from United. You want to join successful clubs. You want to join and win trophies, right? You don't want to be playing for teams like, that are just in absolute turmoil. I mean, we saw Rashford yesterday pick up the a trophy for Barcelona and beating Real Madrid. Crazy game, but I mean, I was looking at him and he was clearly happy, and I was thinking, no way will he want to leave. No way will he want to leave and come back to United. I swear. I mean, it hurts me to say this because I would want players to say, shit, I regret leaving United. But right now, I don't think they will. I think the club could have been cursed. I'm deadly serious, Niche. You know what? You might be right, man. It's been cursed by the Glazers. That's what's happened. If INEOS were to sign players for the manager, they would have done it once the January window opened. A change in CEO and director of football is needed. Yeah, good point there. Good point, United Carver. I think that's a valid point you made. Remember, the midfield shortlist they were flaunting, unbelievable. If they don't get Diomande, City or Liverpool will in a year or two. The CM of a decent quality is so necessary. Yeah, well, this is it. This is what I'm saying, Neville. It's probably already happened. That's what we're being told. Especially if Bruno's going to be an attacker again. Well, he's. I think going forward, I think whoever comes in, Carrick obviously is the man, but after him, I think whoever comes in will want to play Bruno forward on the pitch. The best way to fix the club and restore the DNA is to have ex-players running football operations. CEO and the director of football academy, director of recruitment, borrow a leaf from Ajax, Bayern, Barcelona. Yes, I agree with that. In fact, someone actually made a comment a few days ago in a stream, and I thought that was really, really good, where he said, look, no, get all these in, get Solskjaer in, get flipping Carrick in, get Fletcher in, and get them in positions where currently we've got people who don't understand the DNA of the club. Like, who the hell is Wilcox? He's not a United man. Who the hell is Brada? He's not a United man. So these guys, are they truly there for United to do well? You know, you start questioning whether they actually even understand what the DNA is. Yeah, so United, they would have signed the players in the summer, mate, but absolutely facts. They were playing catch-up. Remember, looking for a CM. Amrin wanted a CM and wing-back. I mean, yeah, it would have been a completely different story if we had signed, say, Baleba in the summer. I really do. I think that small, thin line between success and failure in most of these games would have been the other way around. We would have won against Spurs, that draw. We would have won against Nottingham because of that draw. I mean, the game against Wolves, I just feel like that's when you need them special players. That's what you've seen it. If you played football, you know what I'm talking about. If you watch football, you know that is these special players that carry you over. They're the ones who actually get you the wins. You know, the ones that actually do something for you. Clutch moments. Clutch players come clutch in them moments. That's what it's all about. We're just a trademark now. Yeah, we are. We are. The young Asian and African fans all want to support Barca and Madrid now. Yep, I said that earlier show. I said, look, we are running out of time because the younger generation are slowly supporting other teams that right now are on top. No one's looking, no youngster right now is looking at United saying, ooh, I like the way United are playing football. I love the fact that they're there in the table, you know, sat seventh. I'll support that team. No, they're not. They're going to be looking at the top of the table, which team excites them, which has got the best players, the world-renowned players. You know, they go on to these EA games and whatever football games, and they see the best cards being, you know, Salah, Mbappe, you know, that's the type of players, Haaland. And then immediately they start spotting those teams. That's what happens. So yeah, look, it's a crazy time to be a United fan. I must admit, niche or Man City, but we can even blame them until we can offer European football again. We probably have the best players we're going to get. Yeah, I agree. That's why it's imperative, I feel like, that we hold on to these guys. Absolutely imperative, because if we don't, we're gonna really struggle. We're gonna really struggle with everything. We're gonna struggle with these kind of games. We're gonna struggle with the formations. Whatever you want to do, we're gonna struggle. We're gonna struggle if we let go of our best players. Right now, we've still got a thin chance of still getting some success this season. We're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. And what a game! What a first game for an interim manager to start off with. Man City. What a game. The first game that Carrick's in charge of is going to be against Man City. I mean, talk about getting thrown straight into the deep end. So, yeah, I mean, if he gets a result against them, you know, yeah, it will be crazy. Can we even start thinking that far ahead, though, right now? I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm nervous, man. I'm nervous, and I look at it and think, it's such a hard task. It's such a hard task for any manager, any top manager to come in. I mean, even if we brought in a top manager right now, if we were lucky enough, shall we say, to drag someone away from their job, say an Enrique who'd come in, would he be able to get the best out of these players? Would he be different to Ruben Amorim? That's what, when I start thinking about it, I start thinking, I'm not quite sure, man. I'm not quite sure. You can only do so much with what you've got. And have we seen the best of these players? That is my question mark on all of these guys. Niche, most Kenyan fans support the big ELP teams. Real and Barca mostly second favourites for most. City are, however, gaining lots of fans. Yeah, natural, man. Natural. It's like Travis says, unless you're a real red who wants to pull a United player in the ultimate team. Who wants to pull a United player ultimate team? Yeah, man. You know it, Niche. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. You know, when that card reveals itself and you're like thinking, oh, shit, man. No. Allow that. I mean, but as a United fan, of course, you're like, oh, yeah, I'll cook with Sesko and I'll cook with whoever. But, most players of the game, I've seen a few, they're like, oh, no, not him again and stuff. And you're like, look, we need better players. We need better players. And the players that we've got, the young players, I really do still have faith that if they get the right support network around them, they will become good players. And what I mean by a good support network is good players around them, good experienced players around them. Unfortunately, I feel like we haven't got them. The likes of Luke Shaw, Casemiro, and others set a bad example, in my opinion, for the youngsters. So any youngsters coming in, looking up towards these senior players, I feel like are just led astray. They're led astray where they start thinking, oh, they don't give a shit, and they're senior players, and they play week in, week out. They get picked every week. So I might as well just mimic what they do, and yeah, it'll be all good. That's what it is. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Appreciate your comments, everybody. It's been a crazy night, actually. You guys have really had a lot to get off your chest. But it's been enjoyable. I hope you enjoyed the new kind of look stream. I'm just testing another platform out and seeing how it is, because I might be bringing on some guests as well, so we can have some discussions about what has been going on. Sometimes you might get bored of just seeing my ugly face on the screen constantly. So I might be bringing on some guests so we can speak with them and they can let us know their thoughts on what's going on with the current mayhem. And it's absolute mayhem. And look, the problem is we need the owners out. We need the owners out. I'm sick and tired of the owners. I really am. And I don't feel like anything can really be enjoyed. Any success, any immediate success that we might even have with Carrick, it always has a sour taste at the end of it. And that's because of the owners. Because you're there, you're enjoying United, you love United, you're through and through, you're a United fan, but then you know that there's something niggling you constantly, always. You can't 110% be behind United, because there's always something that you always feel like is there just watching over with a dark cloud. And it's the flipping Glazers and INEOS as well. So as Anish puts it, INEOS are there always looking over and casting a dark shadow over any success that we have at United. Dave, welcome to the show, mate. A bit late, but always late but great. Always comes in. Dave, hello Travis. We are deeply in the mud at full time. I just headed out with my lady. I really even didn't want to chat to people. It's sad that this is the new normal. Well, look, Dave, you're a brave man. I swear, you're a brave man to go out there. I every time you jump on, I give you a lot of credit, man, because you know what? I know that feeling. I've been there many a times where I've gone to Old Trafford, stood there, made the trip there, and you're just clinging on to hope, aren't you? You're thinking, just maybe something might happen. And I know you must have felt the same when Sesko scored that goal against Brighton. I'm sure you would have thought, maybe we're just going to get something happen here, right? In the next 5 minutes, Fergie time, we might get something here. But gone are those days, man. Gone are those days. I mean, how many times do we now have that situation where we score a goal, but we truly don't believe that we can go and get another goal? We know that there's something not quite right about this United team because they're not going to go again. They get that goal, but they can't go and really put the pressure on the opposition. I'm really worried about Kuna. He looked bad with the formation change. Is anyone else a little bit concerned? I really don't like the whole taking on 5 players instead of passing. Well, look, I said that from day one. I like Kuna, but I also found him to be a bit brash with the ball. As soon as he got the ball, he would just kind of, like I say, I've said it before. You've probably heard me say it before, which is I always feel like he thinks he can just run through defenders, but you can't, Kuna. You can't run through the defenders, right? If you run at the player, the defender's going to get the ball off you. That's how it happens. That's how football works. You don't run through players, but I just feel like sometimes he's had success running straight through players, and somehow he ends up with the ball at the end of it all. I have my doubts on Kuna. I do. I want him to be the maverick. I really do want him to be the guy who's unpredictable. Unfortunately, I feel like in the recent games, he's struggled. He's struggled, and it might be because he's not got Mbeumo on the other side causing problems for the defense, and then he gets some space. I think that's the only thing. What's Rooney going to do in the dressing room? Sweet FA. Yeah, Rooney. I mean, I'm surprised. Him as a manager as well. I'm surprised he even went down that route, because I've seen him on shows like The Overlap. You might have caught him on The Overlap, and he just sits there. He doesn't even have any input. He doesn't have anything to really say. He sits there, and then he might put in a word here and there, but he's not very talkative, is he? He snatches at low quality shots. Yes, he does. He does. That's what I was. He's saying that about Kuna, Neville, because that's exactly what I've thought about him. And it enrages me when there's a pass there. He ignores Sesko, and when he makes runs every second game, and it's winding me up. I can't lie. That's Kuna. That is 100% Kuna. That low quality shot is my problem with Kuna. He takes low quality, low power shots from outside of the area, which kind of bobble to the keeper. And I think, what was the point of that? Why did you even bother doing that? If you haven't got the power to take the shot from outside the area, guess what? Don't take the bloody shot. So yeah, look, I hope he changes. I hope someone like someone like Carrick and his staff, which is going to be also quite important. Who is he going to bring in as his assistant coaches? Because that will be pivotal for Carrick's success at United. Sandil, the biggest problem we have is not the ownership, but the board, not the coach. The biggest problem we have is the players, no effort, no hunger, no enthusiasm, just playing and keeping the ball. Perfect comment. Perfect comment. That is exactly what you'd sum up United currently as. If you were to ask me what the problem at United was, that would be my response. That would be my response. The biggest problem is the board, not the coach. It's never been about the coach. I really do believe that. It's the players, guys. It's the players. Their effort, their enthusiasm, their commitment and playing for the club is not there. There's only a handful of players that you can look at and say they actually give a shit. We saw that with Lacey, man. He came on, the teenager, and he showed exactly how our other players on that first team should be reacting, should be behaving. He showed emotion, man. And I bet you the ref gave him a yellow card because even he was shocked, because the rest of the United players hadn't behaved like that throughout the whole game. But if he was used to all the rest of the United players getting pissed off about little things that he was getting wrong, and I'll tell you one thing, that ref in the Brighton game was horrendous. The amount of stuff he got wrong, it was awful. And the same, actually, and against the one against Leeds, that was bloody awful as well. When, Walker, when Leach got the goal and he gave a free kick because Walker fell down. What a load of rubbish. Absolute load of rubbish. Sice, welcome to the show, mate. Hope you're doing well. Kuna is overrated and nonsense. Yeah, well, this is it, man. This. You only find out these kind of players is when they've got no other player around them to carry them. That's what's happened. we all would have still probably thought Kuna's still the bee's knees right now, right? He's wicked. But that was because we had other attackers around him that were making his job a lot easier and getting him space. Mbumo, Ahmad, and even Sesko now. But yeah, I agree. Rubbish player. He gets the limelight because he's Brazilian. Yeah, arguably there is that. I mean, yes, Kuna, he shoots from outside the box, falling backwards, and it drives me nuts, dude. And it's to the detriment of Sesko or any other player coming behind. Defo, hope Carrick can get it out of him. But look, do you know what my worry about Kuna is? He can't even bloody pass. He can't even pass. So, do you know when he gets into them positions where you think, just slot the ball through. Sesko's in. Just slot the ball through. Just play that flipping simple pass. And guess what he does? He takes a shot instead. He takes a shot, or he decides, right, I'm going to go off into a run here and do what no other player can do, which is just weave through 3-4 defenders and end up scoring. It doesn't happen like that, man. This is the Premier League. You've got really good centre backs, mate. I don't know what you're looking at, thinking, right, I can walk through. Absolute crazy stuff, man. He does. Sandil, well said, mate. Sandil has won the comment section. Yeah, I think that sums up the night's comments, man. But to be honest with you, there's been some deadly comments today, man. Everyone's on fire tonight because I think you've got a lot to come off your chest, guys. I mean, I thought I was the only one who wanted to have my say, but clearly everyone's feeling the same. Dave, we need a clear out of the owners first so that we can get competent ones that know how to build a squad. Does anyone really trust the owners to rebuild this squad? No, we don't, man. No, we don't. I don't. I've said it. I've said it many times. Do you know what I would love? I would love this season to end. We get into the Champions League, and then someone comes and buys us out, man. There's some rumors again flying around from some Middle Eastern commentators that there's still some billionaires. There's still some interest in Man United from certain quarters, some groups out there who are still looking at United and they want to take over. So I was like, please let it be true. Please let it be true, man, because I'm sick and tired of it. I'm absolutely sick and tired of just sitting here hoping that the owners will do a job, but they won't. Because look, they've let us down too many times. They've let us down too many times. But anything to change now? Nothing's going to change. Nothing in terms of where we're going in the future. We will be back here in 2 years' time. I mark my words. We'll be back here. We'll all be discussing the same thing, unless the Glazers are not bought out. I think. Look, I would have given INEOS more time of the day if they'd actually bought out the Glazers. If they had bought out the Glazers, I would have said, look, okay, I'll give you a bit more time, guys. I'll let you, because you've got rid of the Glazers, I'll actually give you more time. I'll let you guys go and see what you can do. I would have. But the problem is they've not done that. They've not done that. Where's all that bloody money gone that Jim Ratcliffe supposedly is on top of, right? I thought he's a billionaire. I thought he's worth billions of pounds. Why has he not bought out the Glazers? I thought he was a Man United fan. I'm telling you right now, if I had the money to buy United out and I was a billionaire and I would have bought United out. I wouldn't even have to think about it. And I know for guaranteed all United fans, whoever you are, you'd do the same thing. If you had the money and you had the capability of buying United and it wouldn't cost you anything, and you've already done like 27% or something, right? You would have done it by now, because all United fans collectively do not like the Glazers for what they've done to this club. So where they've taken us to, absolutely nowhere. Dead end. They've taken us to a dead end and they've not been able to get us out of it. And the amount of debt they've piled on. I mean, do you know what made me laugh today is when I heard that, United had paid, I knew this already, but I was just watching something and they were talking about how United paid Amrin a total of plus 30 mil, in total, bringing him in, then paying his contract and then paying him off for his compensation and all that. And I just found it so funny. And I thought, for all that Jim Ratcliffe did, to cut costs at United, right? He went and cut the fund for the United Legends, which was, guess what, £40,000 a year. Not 40 million, £40,000, right? Peanuts compared to £30 million wasted just on Amrin. Forget everything else like Ten Hag, right? And then he cut lunches at Carrington. I think the cost was, what was it? I think it was about 10k a month or something silly, something minor, something like major football clubs wouldn't even blink at, right? So he made a total saving of what, 100,000 here and there, and in everything. He got rid of the staff that had been there for years. He'd got rid of all these kind of trying to make these cuts, right? So let's give him the benefit of doubt, and let's say he cut £500,000 worth of costs at United, right? Getting rid of the staff and all these funds and Sir Alex Ferguson's ambassadorial role and everything. That's a snippet of what the compensation they've paid to Ruben Amrin. What a bloody plonker. And they're telling us that this guy's a serious businessman. He knows jack shit about football. He knows jack shit about football clubs. He has no clue, and we need to call him out, man. And we need to do it quick before he drags us down with him, man. Before he drags us down with him. ML, yeah, mate, hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining anyway, mate. Thanks for dropping your comment as well. It's always appreciated. I always like knowing that everyone is live and well and kicking and watching what's going on at United. Glazers are scum and use United like a piggy bank and must go as well. At least they didn't meddle with football matters. It has to all change, but INEOS terrify me. I'm going to leave it there, guys. It's been a brilliant show, actually. An absolutely brilliant show. I hope you like the new picture and whatnot, and the graphics on the screen. It's not much different to what I was doing before, but it's a different thing. But like I said, I'm going to get on some guests as well. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Want to thank you, everyone who's commented, and of course the moderators, all the ones who've always jumped on and helped out and stuff. I appreciate you more than I can express. So thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow. And hopefully we can start looking forward to the Man City game, and hopefully get some positive news coming